I'm here with Jerrome Warden, who is going to be directing an upcoming production here at STC's Theater Department, and we welcome you, Jerrome, for this opportunity to interview with you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about the production that you're going to be putting together.
Okay, well, it's a devised production, so what that means is it's collaborative. So what we did was we created an environment of just the stage, and our auditions process were actually very different from what you would normally see. So we would bring in actors that were able to work well with each other and come into the space, and what we would do is we would pull texts from the stories and we would pull texts from the poems, and from that we would take them apart, put them back together again with an original story.
Title of the production?
Is A Night with Edgar Allan Poe.
Okay, and that means this is all Edgar Allan Poe?
All his work. Every poem, some of the more famous stories such as The Raven, Telltale Heart, small little poetry that he would write here and there. We took all of his work and we were able to create a completely unique, different story, all threaded within his work.
Should we anticipate this to be dark in terms of its...
In a sense, we are working with the idea of guidance after loss. So a lot of his work was, in fact, influenced by death, loss of a loved one. So we're not... There's no zombies, or there's nothing like that, right. So we won't be jumping out and scaring the audience. But we will be working a lot with shadow. The lighting will be very specific. It will be androgynous, but at the same time, it'll also be very direct. So we get to play with all the elements of the theater. Now,
the actors, are they mostly students, or it's a combination of students and community members?
Great. Actually, it's a perfect blend of both. We have our drama majors, we have SCC students that were interested in acting, and then we have some veteran actors that come from all over the state, actually.
Now, tell us the dates on the production.
Yeah, June 23rd until the 26th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Production every day, once a day?
Once a day, and then Sunday, that Sunday's our matinee. That'll be at 2.
And they can get tickets at the box office
Absolutely, here at the box office.
Do you by chance have the number for them, or we can get that for them later?
You'll get that from later, yes. We have a Facebook page, actually. Yeah.
Fabulous, fabulous. Tell us a little bit about why you selected this particular play.
Well, I always keep the audience in mind when I get the great opportunity to do a production, and I want to usually lean towards something that's familiar but new. And no one's more familiar than Edgar Allan Poe. Everyone knows him by name. The Raven's one of the most popular stories available. So I knew that I wanted to do something that would catch someone's eye when they pass by a poster, for example. And that dark sense of nature, it seems to be the theme throughout the year, whether it's a movie or a theater production. So it just seemed to fit well for the style that I'm comfortable with.
Audience comes, they experience this production. What do you want them to walk away with in terms of sense of it?
Well, the devise in classical sense of theater, you want the audience to walk away with something to talk about. Okay. You want them to take the conversation home to the coffee shops and ultimately have a discussion. So you want the theater experience to go past the doors and into their daily lives, and maybe have them with a unique way of looking at things afterwards. So
Jerrome, share with us a little bit about your background, please.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm originally from McAllen. I went to PSJ South Bears.
How does McAllen go to PSJ Bears?
It was just family one area, and then you live with Dad for a while. I was usually involved with drama, from junior high to high school. Mainly backstage. I was just kind of getting a feel for art and kind of stage design. I went to UTPA, now UTRGV, and it was there that I shifted from being backstage to on the stage. I gained a captivation for actually engaging with other artists and public speaking, and I actually struck an interest with higher education. I had some very amazing professors who were just happy to come to work every day. Yeah. So I knew I wanted to pursue that in some way. So I graduated in 2010, and I went out in the real world for a while. I did some work with Disney in Orlando. I spent some time in Hong Kong, and from there I moved over to New York. And at New York is where I really became interested in higher education. University of Long Island Post. I studied, I got my master's there, did a little bit of acting work, and an opportunity came to teach and direct here, and I took it.
What kind of advice would you give students who are in high school at this point who are considering drama as a future? What kind of advice would you give them in terms of any kind of preparation or any kind of direction that they might be able to give from you?
Read as much as possible. I learned, even though technology has become such an asset today, I wasn't able to really understand myself until I started reading. Every director's book, every actor's book, artists like Edgar Allan Poe. It's from there that you actually start to scalp a process of some kind. Understanding a process allows you to understand yourself, whether it be an actor's process, a magician's process, an athlete's process, even law enforcement. Reading is where I actually was able to gain a great sense of knowledge. And so I'd recommend to pick up every book you can, talk to every actor, professor, anyone engaged in the arts, and just continuously gain knowledge as much as you can until you're sick of it.
You're doing work here as a faculty member as well here at the college. Share with us how this experience has been for you now as an instructor on the other side of it now.
It's been nothing but great. I've gained the knowledge and the tools to shift from teacher to director, and there's certain key points that you know that you have to make that adjustment or approach the student differently. It's funny because it's been nothing but great to teach here. I bring that up and it surprises people. Like, oh, you like what you do? I love what I do. And it almost shocks people, because everyone kind of walks away from work almost exhausted. And here, it's almost energizing to be in a classroom and have this discussion by the time the class is over with, and then to jump into stage, it's rejuvenating. So it's been nothing but great. Plans
for the future in terms of any productions that you might be putting together or thinking about?
Well, the way the theater works is we're already talking about next year. We want to make sure we hit the ground running. We're talking about maybe a comedy this coming spring. We're already laying out our fall schedule, so I would just keep an ear in the ground.
Excellent, excellent. I'm curious also if I could maybe ask you some fun questions.
Yeah, please.
Okay, just for fun. Now, give us maybe your favorite movie.
Favorite movie? I have different. I teach a cinema class as well, so I have so many different genres. The two movies that come to mind in discussion right now is The Green Mile. It's wonderfully directed. Of course, Tom Hanks is in it. It has a little bit of everything: comedy, drama, action. The paranormal as well. Ghostbusters is a good favorite of mine. It's Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, of course, Blues Brothers as well. Anything that's usually around 10, 20 years old, it's probably a favorite of mine. I think it's aged well. So,
favorite play?
Favorite play is Hamlet. I think Hamlet, even though it's a classic and everyone's very familiar with it, I can't help but appreciate how well thought out and timeless it's become. Even reading it today, you can't help but sympathize and relate to the character, who is in himself trying to discover who he is and where to go from there. Excellent.
Favorite stage actor?
Favorite stage actor? I'd have to go with Hugh Jackman, because he can shift between cinema and stage, and he's actually crafted in music. He can project well. He can bring it in smaller for stage. So that type of actor can survive in all elements, which is he's a multi-threat. You can't help but respect that.
When you're not doing drama, hobbies.
My hobbies are very simple. A cup of coffee. I like to write. Every now and again, we'll just actually become an audience member, go to a cinema, actually check out, become a fan for a little bit.
Favorite music?
Classic rock, Aerosmith, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin.
The Beatles?
The Beatles. You go a little bit further back.
Let's
do the Doors, Johnny Cash, all that good stuff.
Excellent. We really enjoyed visiting with Jerrome Warden here, and be sure and check out the play coming up. Give us the name of the play again.
Night with Edgar Allan Poe.
Dates again?
June 23rd to the 26th.
And this will be here at South Texas College at the Cooper Center Theater. Be sure and check us out. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. All right.